Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Rachel Cruze Show. So today we're going to talk about the most expensive places to live in the world. And then we're going to talk about why certain areas are more expensive than others. I always find this stuff so fascinating because you see things on movies or you hear about places, you see places on Instagram and you think, oh my gosh, what if we sold everything and we moved somewhere for 6 months? Like, oh my gosh, I always dream about that. It never will happen, but just what if? And then where's like the bougiest place to live? Where's the cheapest place to live? I don't know. So we're gonna talk about the top 9 most expensive cities in the world. Are you ready? Starting with number 9, Beijing, China. So this city has one of the highest costs of living in the country of China. Prices are so high, mostly because of the huge population of the city, which is 21.54 million people. Coming in at number 8, Tokyo, Japan. Japan in general is known for its high cost of living, but this city is specifically very, very expensive. So rent, car ownership, and transportation are the main things that people spend a lot of money on. And they're, yes, to live, and then everything else, food, all of it, it's just pricey. Number 7, Singapore. Yes. Crazy Rich Asians, anyone? I love that movie. Okay, because it is so small and there's like billionaires that live on this island, the land is scarce and in high demand for property. And so because of that, real estate is very, very expensive. Now, the city specifically also has very few natural resources, so they rely on a lot of importing. Number 6, the place I thought I would always live in my life. It may happen, who knows? Probably not. New York. Oh, isn't New York City just great? It just, every time I go, I'm like, this is it. This is where I'm supposed to be. But it's number 6 on the most expensive cities in the world, so probably won't happen. And in fact, rent prices hit a record in 2022, coming in at about the average rent of $5,000 a month. Which honestly kind of shocked me because I thought it was one place I feel like people vacated during COVID and all of that. So I was like, well, maybe this is like the time to get in. Nope, apparently not. Still very, very expensive. Okay, let's take a quick break so I can tell you about our sponsor. Living on less isn't easy, especially in this economy. But there is a solution to rising healthcare costs. Christian Healthcare Ministries, America's longest-serving health cost-sharing ministry. They have helped hundreds of thousands of people with billions in eligible medical bills. To learn more, go to chministries.org/Rachel. All right, number 5, the 5th most expensive city in the world. I don't know why I was shocked by this. I don't know why, but here it is. Tel Aviv, Israel. I've been to Tel Aviv. Love Israel. So good. Such a great country and a very booming city and a very expensive city, apparently. So this is the largest city in Israel, but it still has a very expensive real estate because it has such a vibrant nightlife and tourist scene. Number 4, Bern, Switzerland. So this is the capital city of Switzerland, and it is expensive for people to live there and for people to travel there. So here's what's interesting. A week-long trip for a family of 4 would cost that family on average $6,000. Pricey. Number 3, Basel, Switzerland. This is Switzerland's oldest university city, and it's close to the borders of France and Germany. And it also hosts the world's largest art fair every year. I'm not an art gal, but sounds very fun. Maybe I'll go. Number 2, Geneva, Switzerland. Hey, Princess Diaries. That's right, Geneva. This city is famous for luxury stores, fancy cafes, and the world's tallest water fountain. Who knew? And last but not least, the most expensive city in the world, Hong Kong, China. This city is so expensive because there is a competitive demand for housing, and it is a huge tourist destination with tons of nightlife and attractions. So we got that top 9 list from a Forbes article. And again, it's just fascinating. I love knowing what's going on in the world. And it's places I wouldn't have thought. If Rachel made her top 9 list, some of those cities probably wouldn't make it. I wouldn't have known. Who knew? Okay, just for fun, Here are the top 10 most expensive states in the US. Are you ready? New York, Hawaii, Massachusetts, California, Maryland, New Jersey, Oregon, Connecticut, Rhode Island, and Alaska. Yep. Okay, there are a lot of different factors that make a place expensive to live in. So, if you've already noticed some of the patterns already, housing costs rise when there is a demand to live in that area. So, the more people that want to live in that city or that area, obviously that means there is a lot of demand, so prices will go up because supply is going down. There's not enough housing to house everyone that wants to live there. Now, urban areas have a higher cost of living because, again, there's more people and more demand for housing and resources. So how far the place is from natural resources like oil, natural gas, they actually have lower energy costs. But the further away you are from farms and food production, that raises the cost of living as well. Obviously, taxes, whether it's state or local, has a lot to do with expenses. And also the schools, the jobs that are available, the stores there, activities, attractions, history, and the newness of the homes in that area can also affect the cost of living in a given location. And of course, last but not least, you got to throw inflation in there. Yep, it has made the cost of living higher just about everywhere, but obviously some areas are feeling it a lot more than others. So all of those factors you need to consider if you're thinking about moving somewhere. So if you thought Hong Kong is the place to be, just know it's the most expensive city in the world. It's just good to know, right? So whether you're just moving states, you're moving cities in the US or beyond, consider what is going on in that area and how much the cost of living is. And even if you want to get into real estate, maybe you're like, okay, it's just good to know the cost of living as well. But it's really important because I think sometimes we can have like these dreams of like, oh, I just want to I want to live in New York. I just want to live in New York. I want to live in LA. I want to live in Miami, right? These like really expensive places to live. The real estate is very expensive, but sometimes the math doesn't always correlate with it. So just because something seems really cool or you feel like you just want to live there, getting there and actually living and knowing how high the cost of living is compared to what you're making, it may not be worth it. That's why we saw a lot of people move out of these expensive states to places that are less expensive because, again, it's like, a breath of fresh air when you actually have margin. So where you live and obviously how much income you make plays a lot into your standard of living and the stress when it comes to your expenses. All right, make sure to share this video with a friend who is interested in finding places to live that are affordable. Maybe they want to avoid very expensive ones, or just someone that's interested in expensive places to live, because I think that stuff is so fascinating. All right, you guys, thanks so much for watching. And remember to take control of your money and create a life you love.